Yes, well, I'm joined by Steve Cotterill, the manager of Bristol City. I just said off air to share your thoughts and emotions, and you said that's a difficult question to answer.
You're not meant to put on air when we're on live exactly what the answer was. Well, probably mixed, really. I mean, it's been a bit of a strange day today, really. I thought that before the game we'd had a couple of days good training. I felt as though we'd got Brentford out of our system. I thought the game was quite flat today. You know, the whole place. I walked out, it was a little bit flat. I mean, I'm sure that our fans have come into the game today probably expecting us to win as well as hoping, and trying to turn that expect from hope is quite difficult, really, because it hasn't been something the club's done for a long time now, which is win football matches. So we have to go through that period, and we have to go through that period playing the football I want us to play. So, when people want it forward a lot quicker than it is, it's not always going to be like that. We've got to play our way through this a little bit. I mean, what we didn't do today was we didn't play our way through the middle third as good as we have done, which was our problem, really, because we kept getting stuck, and it was a funny day out there, really swirly wind, and that's the conditions that footballers hate more than anything else. So therefore, sometimes when you're tucked up in the stand, you don't quite appreciate how difficult it is. And I didn't think that they came here today totally to join in. I thought it took an age for a goal kick. I thought it took an age for a throw-in. Maybe that's something that we should adopt away from home. I'm not really for that, to be honest. I want us to entertain wherever we are and win supporters around the country for it. And that disrupted us a little bit. Then all of a sudden, from one throw-in, we make a mistake from the throw-in on our setup, and then they get a cheap free kick. The lad's had a wonderful strike, man. I mean, I'll take nothing away from him. It's a fantastic goal. Simon nearly saves it. He gets a glove on it, but not strong enough. Then at half time, as I've just said to him at the end, they don't know quite what they've achieved in that second half. It's always very, very difficult in the modern game when you go 1-0 down at home and you're down at the bottom of the table. And for them to try and play through that and win, they're too young to know at the moment. They haven't been in the game long enough of them, to know quite what they've achieved by digging themselves out of that. And I thank them all for their efforts today, because it was a tough game for them. And hopefully now, being out of the bottom four, we can keep ourselves out of it and try and hook in a few other teams. There'll be a few teams that will be looking over their shoulders today thinking, oh God, Bristol City have got themselves out of the bottom four and now we're in touching distance of them. So hopefully if we can get ourselves another result, we'll be further up. And let's see how other teams deal with being in that bottom four, because it's not easy.
How influential was half-time where you changed the shape and made a double substitution?
I don't know, you can tell me, because if I answer that, it looks as though I'm giving myself a pat on the back. So I'm not any good at that, so I don't know really what to say there. They just happen to work on the day, thankfully.
Marvin Elliott, does he get a pat on the back for his contribution in the second half, and not just the 2 goals that he scored?
He does, yeah. He gets a pat on the back. So does Wes Burns. So we're okay with that. And Tyrone Barnett, funny enough, he looked probably tireder for this 20 minutes than he did in 90 the other night. I think that 90 really took it out of him. So I think he had another effect as well when he came on, because I thought their 2 central defenders just took a little bit of a backward step, and I thought that one was quite key. So we're pleased that's happened, but there's lots of other players in the dressing room that haven't been involved today, and I've just left the dressing room and they're all still in there. And a big word of thanks has to go for them as well, for being in the dressing room and supporting the other boys, because it's easy to say the players who played, it's easy to talk about the substitutes and the impact they've had and whatever formation we've done and everything else, but there are 4 or 5 other lads that were in there today, in their suits, collared and tied, with everybody else that haven't been involved, that are still in that dressing room now. So there's a big thanks to them as well for the support that they've given to the players as well today.
And psychologically, for confidence, both in terms of your players and in the stands, I mean, those 2 goals, how much of a difference could they make to your season?
Well, one thing, it makes 3 points difference, that's for sure, and that 3 points makes the league table look a little bit healthier. But it was a tough game today. We're in the middle of that tough run of games we've got. We've just got to make sure that we keep our heads down, and if we can get a couple more wins, get ourselves further up the table, then perhaps even from the stands, our fans can enjoy their football a little bit for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Okay, pleasure.
So, Steve, when things aren't going right, your team's just got to dog it out, mate. I thought they did that really well for them. you said it's a difficult situation one down at home.
Yeah, I don't know if dog it out's the right word. I mean, play out of it a little bit, I think. I want us to play, you know, that's it. And we have to go through these periods of sometimes when people will want the ball forward quicker, you know, whether it's the strikers or someone sat in the stand, you know, sometimes that's going to happen. We've played some really good football so far, and I'm delighted that we've now got ourselves another win on the board. That's really important for us. You just after two games where you've just been beaten, to come home
response, that's what I mean.
in the position you're in, until you've ever been in the arena, you don't quite know what it feels like, and it's very tough. It's very tough. I know what it's like to be out on the pitch where you're not quite confident, but you've got to have the next pass. You've got to have it. You might be under pressure, but you've got to have it because you've got to be part of the team.
Just a strength of
And they were-
character, isn't it?
Absolutely. They're getting better at that, I feel. I feel.
I mean, you said some of the young lads you think are too young and really experienced.
I didn't say that.
Too young in terms of understanding what they've done today. How do you understand what's been achieved in the second half today?
Because I've been through it. Because I've been through it and I've come out the other end. So I understand it. Whereas they won't. It'll only be, it might even be, they might not realise it while they're playing. You know, some of the experienced players, they might not realise it until they stop playing. That's what's enabled me to do it. I'm not any cleverer than any of them. I'm just older, unfortunately.
The great thing it does, you've got another home game too, so it enables you to look at that game and with everyone's a bit more cheerful, and they've got smiles on their faces.
I hope
Confidence
so.
will be a bit higher.
Well, that's what we're in it for. We're in the entertainment business. That's why we won't whack it forward, because we're in the entertainment business.
Did you get a feeling of security, Steve, from in the latter stage, from the heightened physical presence you had on the field? I mean, you dealt so well with all the crosses that came in, which is so important in this league.
I've just said to Aidan Flint in there when he gets a little bit edgy on the ball, and that happens to him, and probably because he's not as silky as quite a lot of our players, our supporters can get edgy a bit when he's not always secure of his pass, or he's got them big long legs to sort out of his. But you know, when it goes in the box, when there's 90 minutes on that clock and there's another 4 minutes, I'll tell you now, there'll only be one person who'll be getting his head on it, and he did it, and I knew that.
Again and again.
And that's what becomes part of. Because if we have a footballer back there who will help us pass the ball and help us get out, and then all of a sudden he gets out jumped for about 5 balls that have gone in our box,
You're going to get everything in this league.
and we lose it 5-2. It's all about putting parts of the team together, and you know, you've got to bear in mind, you know, there's a new goalkeeper,
Yeah.
there's a new centre half in there, there's
I thought it was
another
very
new
impressive how
midfield
they
player
dealt
in
with
there.
the end of the game, and you say you headed a lot of things, which you did, but you also had Elliot heading it, you had Emmanuel Thomas heading it, you
Yeah.
had Barnett heading it.
Well,
You know, you've got a lot of people in there who could clear it.
I'm mindful of that as the game goes on, you know,
Because you get nervous playing last, didn't you?
especially mindful of it on your third substitution. Hence Tyrone Barnett, hence
Well at
J.
both ends.
Emmanuel Thomas dropping back into a midfield, point of a midfield, hence Bobby Reid coming off. So,
You've got more players like that now, Steve, than when you first arrived, haven't you? Deal with set pieces.
well, I didn't know how we dealt with them before.
Not well.
Maybe that was in my thinking then.
That was because that was the point I was trying to make. That in
Yeah.
previous home games this season, 1-1 or 2-1 up, or even
Yeah.
balls. You get ball and
Yeah.
after ball into your
Yeah.
box, don't you, from the other team?
Everybody-
And dealt with them today.
Everybody, what happens is you're thinking yourself, you want us to squeeze up, we want to squeeze up, we want to squeeze up, we want to squeeze up. The only thing is, you can squeeze up and you can get into a normal formation. What you can do is when the ball comes in and you clear it, you can clear it as far as you can until they got control of the ball. In that meantime, all the time the ball's travelling before he controls it, you can squeeze. Once he controls it, you have to step back. That doesn't mean numbers running up. Because what will happen is, we could leave ourselves with 4 defenders in there, but they'll leave 5 attackers up because they're losing, so they'll just chuck it in the box. It doesn't matter whether they get beat 3-1 now or 2-1, does it? So what happens is, we can all run out, but if we don't get to the ball and it goes over the 4 running out, or the 5 running out, we're now left 5v4. So, as long as you stay together and you stay organised, what you can't do is you can't be a man down. So even though we want them to get out, we almost don't want them to get out, if you know what I mean. Or if we do get them out, we want them to come out organised, and we want our smaller, quicker players to go out and attack the ball, which we did today, late on, with Scott Wagstaff and with Wes and with Sam Bulldog. So
I thought it just looked more organised today. But when free kicks were about to be taken, there was like a line, and that line was strong, physical players.
yeah, we've always got that line.
And it's you know, but
We've-
when it's strong,
we've got-
when they're all tall and strong
Yeah,
as well,
yeah.
you've got half a chance.
And they all touch arms and they're all running
That's
the right
yeah,
distances.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's something
yeah.
you brought in.
Something I've done everywhere. I don't
Yeah.
know whether I've brought it in or not, but just something I've done everywhere. Yeah.